The ghost of this spooky hospital has been rumored for years. Strange events and unexplained sightings claim this hospital is haunted. The Hospital del Tórax de Terassa in Catalonia, Spain, constructed in 1952, closed in 1997, and was abandoned until 2004, when the city chose to renovate it into a housing wing and horror movie site. Before opening the biggest TB hospital in Europe, the hospital treated Catalan patients with lung cancer, fibrosis, and the dreaded disease. Even though the disease was almost eliminated, Spain had several white plague cases in the 1950s. Trying to recover in the pure air of the La Pineda woodland near Barcelona in Llano del Buen Aire, the patients died slowly and painfully. The city with the lowest TB rate in Catalonia was Tarrasa. The environment of Hospital del Tórax de Terassa was ideal for the 18-month TB rehabilitation procedure. Patients may sit outdoors on every floor's patio and breathe in the fresh air. Despite its new location, Hospital del Tórax de Terassa was distant from the city, and patients had to be isolated from their families for months. Around 1,500 rooms divided the poorer and higher classes in the 1950s hospital. After TB patients reduced, the institution became a general hospital in 1970. Sanatoriums were formerly specialized hospitals for certain illnesses. They were generally erected in the countryside with fresh air and a healthy environment, secluded from the outside world. Sanatoriums were popular in Europe and America for TB treatment before antibiotics. It might also help patients recover from drunkenness, hysteria, and emotional weariness. Many sanatoriums were abandoned in the mid-1900s due to medical improvements and have subsequently developed a haunted reputation. At Hospital del Tórax de Terassa, 50 nurses and nuns had to care for approximately 1,000 patients daily, some of whom required constant care. The hospital's caregivers and nurses were 25 Carmelite sisters who joined in 1954. In Catholic nations like Spain, nuns have historically cared for hospitals, sanatoriums, orphanages, and more. After 20 years, the sisters departed the hospital owing to poor administration by the proprietors. They employed novice nursing school students who typically overestimated their TB treatment skills. For years, the Hospital del Tórax de Terassa had the most suicides in Spain. In one terrible week, 21 hospitalized patients committed themselves. The causes vary. Some couldn't bear the torture anymore. Some were psychotic or on several medications. Some were severely depressed due to their extended isolation from the world and limited interaction via phone and radio. It might possibly be because their family dropped them there and they had nowhere to go thereafter. Some elected to deteriorate in the hospital bed because they knew they would never recover. Legend has it that patients leaped from the 9th story into the garden. This garden was called the jungle because of the horrific cries before each person fell. Former Hospital del Tórax de Terassa patients who leaped to their deaths still haunt the jungle. Legend has it that you can still hear their death cries or the painful groans and suffering of those who survived the fall. Ghosts haunt more than the 9th floor and the courtyard outside the old sanatorium. The historic church has peculiar paranormal activity, say investigators. According to tales, chapel staff and patients performed evil magic. Like many abandoned structures, others say it was used for demonic rituals. However, that has never been proven. In addition to ghosts, the old hospital is now the audio-visual park of Catalonia, a great spot to film a horror movie. Its hospital days left frightening ruins. A young guy was detained in 2004 with something nasty from the hospital. He claimed to have discovered a fetus in a formaldehyde-filled container on the 5th floor. The fetus's origin, why it was on the 5th level of Hospital del Tórax de Terassa, and its function are unknown.